Okay, let's talk about makeup. Gosh, there's so many TikTok videos and makeup application videos now, but I want to specifically talk about um, makeup that's right for the age we're at, right? And when I'm saying the age is that, as we get older, there's fine lines and wrinkles, the texture's changing a bit, and I do feel like you have to um, be aware of that and adjust your makeup per those changes. So one of the things that I have done, is I use products that actually are working for my skin. So I use a foundation that's oxygenating to my skin, definitely nothing that would clog my pores. I do something even like with my under eye, with my concealer. Sometimes I have some with like a vitamin C that might be in it, or a brightening concealer. I do a lot of products like that. They're always in my daily, but I definitely have them there that I sort of mix in. When it comes to a foundation, during the summer, I usually just use a tinted moisturizer, which to me gives fine coverage, and then go back where in those spots where you need a little more coverage and just use a concealer. And again, like thin it out, like either use a wet sponge or then take a brush and sort of like blur it out in just those areas, right? So you're just not loading your face with a full coverage foundation. Another thing you can do is what I'm doing sort of right now in the winter time is I am using either my oxygenating foundation or an HD foundation, and maybe I'll mix it with a little bit of moisturizer, right? So it just sort of thins it out a little bit. So and it just kind of blurs just any sort of imperfections, right? And then my concealer is, I've always said, like people used to ask me, what product could you not live without? Because I've always had dark circles. I always would say a concealer. So I have, and I don't be afraid with your foundation and your concealer to have like two colors, right? And you sort of mix them per the summer or the winter. If you're have a little more color in your skin, you might want to have the concealer that's a little darker. So I have a couple of different shades for concealer, and I use it, under my eyes. I used to really pack it on under here, but I can't now. I can't with the texture that's happening and also the fine lines. I really go into that area and I press it in. I use tiny brushes to get into the creases so it doesn't like cake up there. And then I use even my powder to kind of set everything. I use a brush that's very open and wispy to sort of just get that powder all over. And then I maybe go in with a sponge in like the T-zone area. For the same thing with the shadows, I go really, really light. I don't do that much. I'm also careful with the liner. I love a brow. Mostly I would say the biggest adjustment for me is with the foundation and the concealer. And now that I've been able to still get the coverage I want, but still keep it light and airy where your skin is actually showing through. That to me is more youthful than packing on a heavy foundation where you can't see any skin. You just see the foundation, you just see the powder on top, you just see the contour. For me, it's so youthful when you see that skin coming through. So these are just things that I do, but for you to sort of think about as you're applying your makeup. So there it is. That's some tips from my makeup routine.